Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the last session today. So yay, we've made it to the last session of today. And today, on this last session, we are going to cover very easily, with lots of fun and joy, how to create freedom. So I've been watching the group all day and noticing more and more people joining, and that's exciting. Hopefully that means that those of you who are here, you are, well, enjoying what's going down and you're eager for more and you're sharing it with friends because, yeah, I'm hoping that that's what that means. Nonetheless, I want to take care of a couple of housekeeping things, and we will, of course, get right down to business, kind of like we've been doing all day. And speaking of all day, many of you know that this is a 2-day situation that we've got going on. So what does that mean? That means that tomorrow, we will also be live, and we have a number of trainings, if you will, planned for you. And they start tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So yep, we will be back for more. So for those of you, if you just got here today, hey, here's the fun part. We've been going to 6:30 a.m. today, and we will be going again tomorrow, also at 6:30 a.m. So hopefully that gives you some excitement, something to think about, something to have some like, wow, what could they have talked about all day that they still have more to talk about tomorrow? Well, quite clearly, quite directly, we're talking about building, helping you to build, very specifically, a multiple 6 and 7-figure business. That's what we're talking about. Now, to you, that may sound simple, like, oh, well, that shouldn't take that long. I would encourage you to expand on that, because it can take that long. And in fact, it can take longer. But what we're doing is we're making sure that you have all of the pieces that you need to get there. During the last session, we talked a lot about also our roadmap, the program. And I heard from the team that there were, you guys were making appointments, which is awesome, and that's great. So definitely want to encourage you to check it out, right? Because having 12 months of very intense, direct, lots of do this type of training that can become situational depending on where you live geographically and who knows what happens next from the world standpoint. But learning how to navigate right now is completely everything. And again, I don't know how much you guys are paying attention to all of the business people out there in the marketplace, but maybe you saw or maybe you didn't see, but there were, I believe it was CNN or CNBC, one of the two, it's probably CNBC. Knowing me, it was probably CNBC now I think about it, was interviewing Howard Schultz. And one of the things that he said, which is very, very true, is that the solution for small businesses, you and I, isn't just about getting a loan or the payment protection program, I think that's what they call it, paycheck protection, right? That's not the solution. Not only did it not get executed well, but even if it had gotten executed well, that's not the solution, because there are additional resources that are required, meaning that the way the PPP was designed was at best 2 months. Well, we have a rolling catastrophe and we need to navigate the waters for likely more than 2 months, likely no less than 2 quarters, right? And being able to know what to do, how to respond, having access to that wisdom is a part of what's necessary for all businesses to make it through this time. Your business. And that's where the roadmap comes in, because what we do is we gather the experts that can help you do exactly that. Give your small business a greater than average fighting chance, not only at being successful, but being successful when the economy, when the standard thought process might be, you can't make it right now. How on earth is that gonna work, right? Because you don't know. And I was just sharing this information, these thoughts, and my daughter was in the car when we were listening to this interview as well, and she came up and she said the funniest thing. I thought it was the funniest thing. She's like, but we should have been prepared for this because we saw that Thanos snapped away half the people on the world. Oh my God. We should have been prepared. There should be a way for us to prepare because, you know, Thanos snapped away half of the people. And, and well, she's 12. So at the same time though, this is a new situation. It's a new thing. It's a new day. And what you want to do is you want to give yourself the best chance at success at what that looks like for each and every one of us. And I totally understand, you know, it's going to look different. And if for some reason you're not ready to 100% get started, but you have some questions, right? You want to ask some questions, just go over to cashflowdiary.com/2-day call, cashflowdiary.com/2-day call. get on the calendar before the appointments get booked up and they're gone and they're done. Take advantage of the coupon while it's available to you. Get your $200 off, $200 a month off, so that it's going to take it back down to $13.97. Do all of those things. Also, I did not mention this previously, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows. Yes, it's $13.97 a month, but if you do pay in full, which is I think $16,764, you will get an additional 10% off. So if you paid in full, you do have that as an option for a discount for those of you who are so inclined and would rather just get it done and not think about, things on a monthly basis. So that's absolutely there for you as well. All right. I'm looking for, so I want to also give you ideas about tomorrow's, day 2, there it is. So I want to show you what we're going to be talking about tomorrow as well, so that you can plan and be here and make it happen in all the ways possible. So we're going to be talking about technology. So more of those expert tools, if you will, the people that you need on your team, why your vision and story is critical, especially right now. We're going to give you a tour, if you will, of inside, so that you can look inside everything that we've developed and what you'll be able to have access to. And then understanding how to follow the process, track your success. And as you see, under each one of those sessions, what I want you to see, it says plus live Q&A call in. Here's what that means is we have a call in number that you'll be able to dial. We'll want to talk to you. That way we can go back and forth over whatever your question might be. Okay. And we will definitely answer it. And for those of you who want to continue, because that's what we're doing, is we're building you so you can build your business, and we're giving you the building blocks of the business step by step. That's why we gave you the document that we gave you. Now, I just remembered, I think I forgot to give you the bonus document from the last session. I literally just realized that. Okay, so let's make sure that that happens, because I don't remember passing that out. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So, yes, there it is. So one of the documents that will be coming your way now is this. It's the property evaluation checklist, the property evaluation checklist. It's one of the other systems that you will be using in order to evaluate properties and know that you've got the correct property, the right property for your customer type, that it has all of the things required, so that you can, again, systematize everything. Everything is executed by a system, because with systems you then have the ability to scale and do a whole bunch of other things. But most importantly, make sure that your reviews stay solid and that people have the same type of experience. It is important, imperative that all comes together perfectly for you, and you want to make sure that you have that as well. Now, for those of you who are wondering, like, where can I find all this juicy good stuff? What you want to do is you want to get over to inside the Facebook group. You will see a section that is called Units. Inside the Units section, you'll be able to download the resources that I am referring to, if you haven't already. And speaking of resources, you should have already in your possession our workbook as well. And as you go back through many of the replays, you'll be able to fill in the workbook, get the answers, begin to build the foundation of your business. As I said many times today, I get that you have a need, right? You have a desire, you have a something, and the main thing that I want to continue to communicate is that the marketplace doesn't really care about your need, right? The marketplace cares is, can you provide value to me? And if so, lead with that. So when it comes to doing this entire business, understand that that's where it comes from. That's why the homework is the homework, is so that you can be focused on leading with what the marketplace is requesting, not what you think or not what you need, or because I'm telling you, when you focus on giving more in use value than you ask in cash value, your business wins. It's just that simple. All right. So what we want to do is we want to explore the process, I guess. Yeah, that's what the process of creation, that in the sense of how can you create freedom from where you are with your resources, with what you've got. How do you create freedom? So in order to, well, that's weird. In order to create something, it's really important to define a couple of things. So if we're talking about how to create, and freedom is the next word, freedom. Sorry, I was thinking about William Wallace right there. Because you can take our land. Anyway, let me put this back over here so I can see if the team is asking or telling me anything, because I had forgotten to do that. So how to create freedom, right? How to create freedom. This is what we're talking about. In fact, the team did just give me a message that another one of you just now decided to go ahead and make another appointment for, it looks like 9 a.m. tomorrow. Congratulations, good job, because that means you're taking this seriously. You're understanding that it is a process and you are moving forward. That's what you should be doing. That's where it is. That's where it lies. So how to create freedom. This is really what I'm talking about here. And I want to focus on create, and I want to focus on freedom. Okay. This green is still disappointing me. Probably one of the most important things to understand. Now, I am not an artist, quote unquote, by any sort of training. What does that mean? Like art history, that's not my thing. It's not what I took. I don't know that stuff. You guys know way more about that. Great, wonderful, awesome. And the only thing I want to submit for your acceptance is that when it comes to creating, it's understanding that it's a process, right? By which a creator is, for all intents and purposes, hear me clearly when I say this, is reorganizing existing resources for a new purpose. Resources for a new purpose. Now, for those of you with all the college degrees and stuff, so that you know, you will occasionally, also known as often, find grammatical errors, spelling errors, and errors like that, and especially if I'm writing something. And hopefully you don't let that get in your way. So, but the process by which reorganizing existing resources is there for a new purpose, which is another way of saying part of creation can sometimes be a dismantling, a destruction of something that was already there, right? It's very possible. It's not necessarily starting over, quote unquote, from the beginning all the time. In order to create something, you may need to destroy something else, right? In order to be able to create something. Here's why I say this. Here's why this is really important to grasp, to understand, and to give yourself an opportunity at, well, making it all work for you. Is you must, one second. Oh, it was in the other scene. Got it. I think now I understand what's been happening and why these things keep disappearing. I get it now. All right. You must, in order to understand this, like I said, the part of the creation process involves a destroying of something else often. The number one thing, because I hinted at it at the end of the last session, the number one thing that must be destroyed, or in this case, I said it as you need to unlearn habits that have kept you poor. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean Not necessarily you don't have money, but more or less lacking in resources in some way, shape, or form, whatever that resource might be, because you can be poor in many different things. My point is that there are habits associated with that way of being that you learned somewhere, that you continue to do, that keep you in that state or put a lid on what is possible for you. Definitely what's probable for you. You have to unlearn those habits, because keeping those habits that way won't help you or your business, grow. Which is another way of saying you and I, we will not out-earn our personal growth. You must be willing and could be committed to this creation process. Part of what is being created is a new version of you. That new version of you is more capable than the existing version of you. The existing version of you is fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are awesome. And now it's time to go to 2.0. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's part of the reason why it's a 12-month program, is because I can give you all the tactics, but that doesn't teach you how to use the expert tools expertly. Now, does it? But there is no super secret, if you will, other than understanding it's a process, giving yourself time to go through what are called the 4 levels of learning and making sure that you get through the frustration. And we've also, we'll talk about things like the J curve, right, as well, so that you can understand, and in order to reach that scale and profitability that you think you are ready for, you must first go through the valley of despair. That your success is built on cumulative failures, cumulative failure events. And that's how you, quote unquote, get to the mountaintop. The mountaintop, if you will, is built on failures. It's a mountain of failures that you are now standing on top of. That is what's under your feet. And you have to unlearn those habits. See, avoiding failure, avoiding risk, avoiding looking bad. Here's a very basic one, right? Somebody get ready to write this in the chat. You've heard me say it before, and now I say again, you cannot learn and look good at the same time. Not possible. You can't learn and look good at the same time. In fact, think about a toddler, or if you know someone who has a toddler. When a toddler was learning how to speak, it doesn't matter the language, but when a toddler is learning how to speak, do they look good? Do they sound good? Does it sound perfect? Can you understand somebody else's toddler? Think about that for a second. They're speaking, but you ain't got a clue what they're saying. And then you look at mom or dad and they go, oh, no, he wants cookies. Oh, that's what that was? I didn't. Okay, got it. You know, there was no, you don't have any way of understanding that. You cannot learn and look good at the same time. Could you imagine what would happen if, as a toddler, you actually understood, like, criticism and other people's opinion and judgment and things of that nature? Man, we wouldn't speak. Think about it. The toddler don't care, does not care. They will keep repeating it until they get what they want. They will make sure you figure out, this is what I am saying and what I need, right? Because they're learning how to speak. They're not concerned about looking good. But yet, as time goes on, you and I learn things, right? And we learn that there's such a thing as criticism and ostracizing and other people's opinions. And you know what happens? We start to learn that it's better to have the right answer than risk the wrong one. And until I have the right answer, the perfect one, the one that I guarantee can work, I'm not willing to experiment at all. And we don't. But then we want something that requires experimentation. That's what happens. See, you want to know, you want the rewards of freedom, and we're going to define that in a second, but you want those rewards, but at the same time, that may mean you have to let go of your guarantees, or dare I say addiction, to certainty, because it's not there. It's not there. Because your addiction to certainty is how you ended up with a job, because you were therefore then certain you would get a paycheck every 2 weeks or once a month or on the 1st and the 15th or whatever the schedule is. But that doesn't give you the ability to create, because see, that's a habit that has kept you and can keep you and snag you right back until you learn to break it. You have to unlearn that one. You just have to unlearn it if you want to go beyond it. I don't have any other way to help you do that, right? Other than to just tell you, certainty is not something that you can, you just don't, I can't give it to you, right? I would love to, but I can't. What's on the other side of that, because let me show you how this shows up when you're considering short-term rentals. Well, how do I know how much money I'm going to earn on a per unit basis? You don't. That's the answer. You actually don't. I can give you good rules of thumb. For example, start with 2 times the monthly rent. That's a good rule of thumb. Just start there. Now, I can also tell you that your first 12 months should be the lowest earning 12 months for that particular unit because of what you don't know. Now, some of you interpret, oh, well, then that means I'm going to wait until I know everything before I get started so that my first 12 months can be even better. And you, my friend, the problem is you won't be able to, because there are some things you just don't learn until you are in the middle of it. Here's what I mean by that. Here's how it looks in the short-term rental world. As you are going through the process of creating your freedom, you will discover that your customer, your guests, the people who are coming to your area are completely different than what you thought. That's how I found out that wedding parties really like houses, right? That's also one of the reasons I stopped doing houses, is wedding parties liked houses. All the ladies wanted to get together, stay at the house, because somebody was getting married, and then they all wanted to do their hair and clog up my sink and drains and everything else. And I didn't like that, okay? But I didn't know that at the beginning. I didn't understand how much medical travel really there was until now. I didn't really get that. I know now. I didn't really get how much business these insurance companies are doing anytime something happens. Didn't really understand any of that and would have never understood it from the outside. But it was key to understanding it. Military, there are so many things. You won't know it all. In fact, here's part of the challenge, especially right now, for those of you who are already operating or about to get started, is during times of extreme uncertainty. So first of all times have always been uncertain, but this is a time of extreme uncertainty. One of the things you must become more proficient at as you are leading a company, you need to be comfortable or become more comfortable making decisions with imperfect information. You will not have perfect information, guaranteed. Normally I would say, hey, you got to get 80% of the information and be willing to go with that, but it's much less than that right now because you don't know. You just don't know, right? And you've got to still lead, and you still got to keep making decisions, and you still got to make choices and pricing, and yes, location, and yes, we'll do that, or no, we can't do that. Yes, we'll hire you. You get fired. Here's what you still have to do. That's part of it. Again, unlearning habits that have kept you poor. Because, see, when you talk to your friends, they're going to tell you to go get a job. Oh, I'll just get a job. When was the last time a job made someone rich or wealthy or gave them freedom? And we'll talk about freedom here in a second. Here's the answer, by the way. Whoever was employee number 1, 2, 3, 12, and probably the first 1,000 at Microsoft and Google and Uber and all of the companies that eventually went public. That's the way to do it. Okay, if you're going to be an employee, that's how it's going to happen, right? And if that does not look like, if the cards are not in your favor right now for that, you got to find another way to create your freedom in some way, shape, or form. So what does that mean? Part of that means unlearning the habits that have kept you poor. Here's another big one, right? And I tend to spell it this way because it also shows up. I'm sure Rob gets this question when you guys ask him or talk to him. People ask all the time, how long is it gonna be before I earn money? Here's the truth of the matter. I don't know. No one does. You know why we don't know? Because I don't know how long you are willing to work, how urgently you're willing to work, how much work you are willing to do in any one given day. I don't know that. Here's what I do know. I know that we have a lady by the name of Angela who's in San Diego who got started with us. I think it was either the beginning of this month or the end of last month. I can't remember, but it's one of those two. And it's been a few weeks. I know she's already talked to 20 landlords. I know that she is negotiating right now multiple units. I think it's 4. Okay? I do know that. I do know that as she continues that process, it is highly probable by the end of this week she has a lease signed, if not 2 or 3. And I know as she continues to follow the process that we have laid out with her, that her accountability coach is helping her to stay connected to, that by the end of not this week, but next week, it's very probable that she will have her first occupied unit and have received income from the business model because she just followed the recipe. You know, it's kind of like when for those of you who bake, if you're a baker, first of all, if you're a baker, do me a favor, put a little cake in the chat so we know who to hit up. Nah, I'm kind of messing with you, but you get my point. So if you're a baker, this is great. So could you imagine if someone came to you and you're a baker and you know the recipe says, hey, you got to bake on high for bake on 400 for 45 minutes. That's what you have to do. That's the part that they know. They've got, but you know that they still have to make time to go to the grocery store to pick up the ingredients. And then they've got to make time to, once they have all of the ingredients, to put them in the kitchen and organize everything so that they can actually then use them. They got to make time to prepare it and do all the things. But then they come to you and say, so, okay, if I buy your recipe, how long till I have a cake? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I know the recipe says 45 minutes after you've done all of these things, you should have a cake. But you have to go do all of these other things first. Like, do you have eggs at home? If you have eggs, then, well, that's good. That'll help. What about the rest of the ingredients? And what I'm saying is that one of the ingredients to the entire recipe is you unlearning some of the habits that have kept you poor. See, you cannot ask advice. Could you imagine? It's hard for you to ask for wisdom, counsel, if you will, from people who have never done what it is that you are looking to do. That's why a lot of the team is comprised of individuals who have done what you are looking to do, using the information that we provide. That's why. That's part of the strategy, if you will, is to help you get out of your way and unlearn some of those habits. Because that's the thing, right? It's your business. We're going to give you the recipe. We'll help you follow it. I want you to have 12. That's what I want. My minimum expectation for everybody is a minimum of 4. And Angela is really close to doing that inside of 30 days. See, but I can't tell you that it's going to take you 30 days as much as I want to. I can tell you that it can happen in 30 days. I can tell you that Angela was able to do it in 30 days. I can tell you that some people have done it faster. I can tell you that some people have never done it. But that had nothing to do with the ingredients or the recipe. Maybe they just never got in the car, went to the grocery store, and picked up the eggs. And the challenge is you interpret that as, oh, it must not work then. Why would they not go pick up the eggs? I don't know. Why do you not go? We all do this crazy stuff. But learning to unlearn the habits that have kept you poor is key. And it's part of the process of creation in this case. So when we're talking about freedom, though, when we start talking about freedom, this word can have so many different meanings. And all I want to do is I just want to keep it simple. And I'm just going to give you one substitute for this. Choice. Choice. What do I mean? If you wanted to, can you choose to take a month off of your job, your work, whatever you do to earn income? Can you choose that and have your income go up? Can you choose that? Or if it can't go up, can it stay the same? Can you make that choice? If the answer is no, then by this definition, you do not yet have freedom. Can you choose, like for example, when you go to when you could go to restaurants, you remember that? You remember when we used to go to the restaurant, sit down and eat? Remember that? When you did that, and I am very guilty of this. It annoys some people, I know, but whatever. Here's what I want to say is you would I don't necessarily order from the menu. I choose what I want to eat, and then I ask them to make that, whatever that might be. And to the point to where, for example, I think Robert, this has happened a number of times. Yes, I think it's 4. When you ask for a side of bacon, or when you ask for bacon, they come when the restaurant delivers them to you in 4s, right? But I want 6. So I will place an order for 6 strips of crispy bacon. And the confusion that ensues is amazing. Because you can just see the confusion. Try this the next time you can go to a restaurant. Ask for 6, you'll see. And it's like, no, I want 6. And then they will respond usually with, well, it comes with 4. Okay, I'd like 6, please. And then there's confusion because they're like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, anyway, just make sure I get 6. Well, I'm gonna have to charge you extra. Okay, can I have 6, please? 6 is the magic number here because I'm choosing. This is what I want. I want 6. I don't want 8. I'm not gonna eat 8. I know I'm not gonna eat 8, but I will eat 6. So that's what I want. Can you just help me with that? Or are you restricting yourself, not exercising choice, you're restricting yourself to just what's there, what's been put in front of you. Now, I'm being a little extreme, and I probably irritated some of you, especially you're like, I am never eating with him. That would be so weird. That's fine. But I'm just trying to do it to illustrate the power of choice. Do you have it? That's what I think of when people ask me about freedom. Well, do I have the choice of when I get up, when I go to bed, how hard I work, if I work at all, what school my kids go to, what we wear, what we don't wear, where we live. Do you have the choice? Meaning, if you chose, could you increase your square footage if that's what you needed or wanted to do? Do you have the choice? Do you have the ability to choose? It's not about, no, Jay, I don't have enough money yet. No, that's not it. Could you choose that, hey, you know what? I want to add I'm being ridiculous right now, a double-decker swimming pool with heated floors in the backyard. Great. Okay, you could make that choice. And now, do you have to ask permission from someone in order to do the rest of what's required in terms of providing extra value? Or do you have the freedom to go and design a new product, a new service, a new level of service, a new way of delivering service, or a new marketing plan to acquire more customers, to deliver more service, so that you can then have do you have the choice? Or is it $45 an hour and there are only so many hours in the day? I don't know what else to do. I don't have any choice but to choose this. That's what I'm talking about. You create freedom, create choice by destroying the habits that have kept you poor so that you are now enabled to choose what you desire. Period. And a lot of the time, some of the decisions we've made in the past are the reasons we can't have what we desire in the future. Because they just have constraints. There's only so much your boss will pay you. Because that's all their system is designed to do. There's only so much how many hours in the day, which means there's a limit to the amount of schooling you go to so that you have all of the licenses and stuff. There's a limit to your productive capacity there until you unlearn the habits that have robbed you, in my opinion, of the ability to create choice. That's really what it comes down to. And here's the number one goal of our entire roadmap program, is to teach you all of the pieces so that you never need us again. That's it. I want you to know everything. How can you look at something like a COVID-19 coming for you and your business and then know what to do in response? How do you do that? How can you, when you're faced with an opportunity of insane proportions, choose which ones to go after and which ones to wait and how to prioritize? How do you know when it's time to pivot and what do you do there? How do you do it? Giving you the experience, the understanding, the expertise to make that happen. That's what we care about so that you can do this, which is why it takes time. But at the same time, that's why we're still here. Meaning, we didn't do this 20 years ago and go, oh, cool, I can now show them what to do. No. This is something that we're doing active live today. Because see, if you learn or are learning from someone who did real estate or did whatever it is that you're learning 20 years ago, guess what they did not deal with? The government shutting down businesses in this manner across the entire country, dare I say world. They didn't deal with the effects of a pandemic of this kind. You know why? Because the last one like this was 1918 in the United States. The last worldwide one, I don't know. I don't even know. But think about what I'm saying here. These are unprecedented ways of having to navigate and to do business and being able to interpret what actions to take is a skill set, when you're dealing with uncertainty. But on the other end of it is you creating freedom. So if you haven't defined what that looks like for you, what choices you'd like to be able to make, totally understood. If you've never been in a position in which you're like, I don't know, I don't have any choices, so why bother torturing myself with an exercise such as that? Well, that's exactly what we want to free you from. That way of thinking. That's exactly why tomorrow one of the things we're going to be doing is helping you rebuild that vision for your ability to choose whatever you'd like. Because that's also a part of the process, right? That's also a part of the process. It feels like it's not. It feels like it's extra, like something I can get to later. Okay, got it. You're wrong, and got it. At the same time, it's one of the foundational things that's going to keep you motivated, keep you past all of the things you believe are the thing that you need to know. Nonetheless, our job here, I told you from the beginning of today, is to get you to believe and to build. Believe and to build. And I want you to believe and build now, because there is no time. You cannot act. There is no time but now. You cannot act in the past. You cannot act in the future. You cannot go, well, I'm going to wait until the opportunity gets better, because you don't know if it's going to get better. And you need to make the best decision you can right now. This good, better, best. Those are the three choices you got when it comes to a decision. And you won't know until you've made one, whether it was the good, better, or best one for you. So sitting on the sidelines, that's a choice, but it is also the first step. Okay, doing nothing is so dangerous, because the best you can hope for in terms of doing nothing, and many of you may have heard me say this, because I know that there are so many people who think like this is how I'm going to get through, is I'm just going to hunker down and wait. My job will come back, or my company got me, or whatever. Understand there are going to be some catastrophic fallout coming. Industries that we never perceived as weak, falling apart. Could literally oil companies, for example, bankrupt studios in the entertainment world, names we know on the stock market done. And I'm not prophesying gloom and doom. I'm just saying they don't have the ability to operate. I'm really interested what's going to happen with all the theme parks. Like, I have no idea, but it's interesting to watch, because you got to understand that theme parks like Disney, for example, Disney, they were created to stabilize Disney's desire with his cartoons and the cartoon movie. That's why Disneyland was needed, to try to stabilize revenue. Understand what happens when the stable revenue is gone, because people can't go to the park. You got a problem. And even when they do, it's going to be different. You can't pack them in high and tight no more. Hotels, when it gets back, it's going to be interesting, because you can't pack them in high and tight. It's not going to be the same. Not going to be the same. Restaurants, there's so many things that are going to change. But navigating that change is going to be interesting to see. But through this chaos, where there's chaos, there's cash flow, you have a choice. You can choose to unlearn what has kept you beholden to these things, so that you can now create freedom on the other end. Even if it's something as simple as choosing that you want 6 strips of bacon and not 8. Okay? Because when it comes to short-term rentals, and having the systems behind it, and then learning to scale it and put them into practice and make it work, that's what the roadmap is all about. That's just what the roadmap is all about. Teaching you all of those things, not just the tactics, not just what to do. That's easy. That literally is easy, because it's not a mystery. Here's what you do. You go, talk to a landlord, ask him to lease the property. You lease the property, you put furniture in it, and then you put somebody else in it. And then you do it again. 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 That's what you're doing. Mystery solved. But becoming the person that is enabled and capable of doing that, and leading a team through that, and helping people in those ways, that's different. But that's what we're committed to do, and that's why we've developed the roadmap. The roadmap, for those of you who don't know, and then we'll be done for today, is it's a 12-month program. That 12-month program basically teaches you all of the basics that you need to know. Because, like I said, Here's the other option, and people are choosing this option, by the way, is they're choosing what's known as a Pyrrhic victory. They're intentionally choosing it because they think that that's the best way to get through it. And yeah, no, it's not. And I wanted to make it a little bit bigger so you could see it. They're choosing a Pyrrhic victory. What that simply means is it's a war of attrition. Or as you can see, a victory that inflicts such a devastating toll on the victor that it's tantamount to defeat. You lose so much of your own resources. Yeah, you won, but did you? Really? And that's what happens when you stand still and do nothing. That's what you're doing. And that's the only hope you have, because everything that is going on, it's outside of all of our control. I can't make it go away, and neither can you. You can't speed it up. But you can begin to defend yourself from it, which is an active thing. And that's why right now you see us going live so much, emailing all the time, videos, everything, because that is what I believe in my core. Now is the time to act, push forward, so that you have choice. So that you have a choice. You have a say-so in the matter. And let me take this one step further. Many of you, because of the choices you're making right now, and it could be a simple choice, as simple as, I know I will at least get on the phone and talk to Rob about how this program can work for me given my situation. Great, cashflowdiary.com/2-day call, because that's what you would do. But let me tell you why this is also important. Is because I don't know what the new number is. I'm sure it's going to come out sometime this week or tomorrow or whatnot. But 22 million people laid off so far are looking for an opportunity. And some of that opportunity could easily be working for you. And they'll be happy about it. Let me take that one step further. Small businesses. For those of you who were around back on March 15th or 13th, or whenever these loan programs started being talked about, I said, the cavalry ain't coming. Apply for all of these things, but don't depend on them. The cavalry ain't coming. Work as if they're not going to come. It's never going to happen. Work as if they're going to run out of money before they get to you. Okay, the words that I said on video, you can go look it up if you want. Here's my point. You and I, if it's gonna happen, you and I have to do it. And you have to build your business with that understanding so that you can have a choice in where you live and how things work for you and your family. And I know right now, it's work, but 10 years from now, people will say you got lucky. And probably even won't take 10 years. 3-4 years from now, they're like, oh, you got lucky. You did short-term rentals. When? Man. And there will be a lot of people who will be grateful for the brave decisions that you were making. Because that's part of what it takes right now, is some bravery to make that happen. For those of you who are ready to get started, just get over to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap. Put in the coupon. Because it'll take the price from $15.97 down to $13.97 per month. Yes, you can pay in full for a discount if that's the position that you're in and you'd like to do. And you're like, well, I don't have the money. Great, still make the call, because there are ways. If you are open to figuring it out, money is never the problem. You do not have a money problem, you have an idea problem. And I know that to be true, because you're talking to the guy, literally, who started his real estate career squatting in bank-owned property, right? Credit score 398. All of the stuff that people have said to you that, hey, you can't do that. Well, we did. When you go to the checkout page at cashflowdiary.com/roadmap, it's going to look exactly like this. And then what you're going to do, let me see. Let me hit refresh. What you're going to do is when you scroll down, and just as a quick reminder, it includes 1 year of training with myself, my team, and our guest experts. Accountability coach, that means an actual human whose job it is to make sure that you know what to do next, keeps you accountable to doing it next, and making sure that you follow through. This is part of the reason why individuals like Angela, who just joined us, get results in the time frame that they do. Okay. Access to all of the courses that we've created, which at this moment is 37. It's currently 3 times a week, soon to go to 4 times a week of additional hot seats and training and calls, which means when you experience a very specific or particular problem, you bring the question, everyone listens and learns together, and we solve your problem right there live. From me getting on the phone to me helping inside of your own software or system or whatever it is that you're running to answer the questions and fix the problems, okay? Pricing, all the stuff. That's what we've done. So you're gonna fill it out, first name, last name, email address, phone number, and then when it gets down here, you're gonna put in the coupon code, because at the moment it's gonna say $15.97, because that is going to be the new price. However, for the moment, you can put in April 2020, and then click apply a coupon code, and as you see, just like it did right there on my screen, it'll take your screen down to $13.97. Click place order now, then you'll get what we call our enrollment agreement. You'll sign that, and then you'll be beginning the onboarding process. The next call is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we will be, oh yeah, that's right. They have a workbook, very similar, a workbook that we've been going through to help understand how to pivot, what questions to ask, and how to pivot. What services might you need to consider asking? What customers might you need to consider now serving? What types of properties and locations, what part of your value proposition needs to change, or communication of that needs to change in order to make sure that you are still delivering to what the marketplace needs. Hopefully that all of that, I hope, really makes sense. So your job right now is to either get started by going to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap, or go to cashflowdiary.com/2-day call to make an appointment, so that you can get the rest of your questions answered and get started. Now, I want to end today with a couple of things. First, actually, I should remind you of what tomorrow's schedule looks like. Nope, that's day 1. I need day 2. Boom. So tomorrow's schedule looks as follows. 1, 2, 3. Starting at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, we'll be talking about the technology that's used. We will also be talking about the people you need on your team, specifically why your vision and story is so important. You'll see an inside tour of everything that you'll get access to, including our dedicated app, which is available, obviously, iOS, Android, and web as well. And then following the process and tracking your progress, because it's important. But understand, underneath all of that, live Q&A. Feel free. Pummel me with your questions. I dare you. It's awesome. It'll be fun. I should give this disclaimer. I will answer your questions. I do not guarantee that you'll like my answer, because I'm not interested in you liking me or the answer. I am interested in you experiencing the level of success that you desire. So if that means that your preconceived notions or thoughts or emotions get a little injured, but yet you have been delivered a system and an answer that I know is pivotal to your success, that's what's going to happen. And if that's what you want, then we're your people. Let's go. Let's make it happen. I also want to say to those of you who could possibly be feeling like, man, I just got laid off. I can't do this. Understand, some of our most successful individuals have been laid off, laid off. They're looking at their pile of cash going, okay, Jay, can you help me navigate this so that I don't have to go back to work? And we have, and we do that. And we'll do it for you too, because that's what we're designed to do. That's why the program is what it is. And just as a reminder, that $13.97 is the price that you get locked in. It's kind of neat, which means that as we add more to it, your price does not increase. And I talked in the previous session that we are already adding more to it. because we'll be adding an additional training call. An additional training call. Hopefully you heard that 4 times per week now, because maybe we're just crazy, or maybe we're just committed to your success. We'll let you decide. Either way it goes, we're here to help you. Hopefully you guys have been having some fun today. We're gonna have more fun tomorrow. Starts the same time, 6:30 a.m. Okay, so for those of you thinking, but didn't you say the roadmap call is tomorrow? Yeah, it is. I'm doing those too. So that means I'm going to have 5 sessions with you, 2 sessions with them. And then for those of you who've been tracking and know that I've been going live in the public areas once every day, I'm doing that too. All of it's happening tomorrow, because your success, your stability, your ability to go and create something, hopefully freedom for you, and well, that's my commitment to a success that I don't even get to really participate in. But that's okay. It's also fulfilling to be at 0.0001% of it. And that's what I get excited about. That's what the team gets excited about. That's why John and Wendy and Robert are here, and Corinne and Stephanie, is because they want to assist in making sure that your experience with us is everything we can make it, and then more. Okay, and then more. Because we want you to be successful. We know you have the capacity to do it. We're gonna hand you the keys, and your job is to learn to drive the Lamborghini. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun serving you today. I look forward to serving you tomorrow too. Till next time.